Welcome back to Good Day. So it's always great when we can mix good, local, and positive with Knit Along.
Yes, I love this. And I had the pleasure of talking with a local teen who uses her crochet skills to learn more about business, but to also help others. Take a look at this. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. You're 16 years old. How long have you been crocheting?
About 2 years. I started in 2021 when because I wanted my grandma to make me a blanket, and she's like, well, why don't you just make your own? And I'm like, okay. So me and my cousin kind of learned to crochet from her. So.
Yeah, so a number of years. You're fairly young. A great skill to learn, though. So good on Grandma for teaching you how to do that. What types of things have you crocheted then over the years?
I've crocheted a lot of stuff that ranges from like basic, like ghosts like this, to more complex things like giraffes and, turtles, which are my mom's personal favorite. But I've crocheted a lot of stuff. And also I can crochet cancer ribbons too, which I learned to do just recently. So.
Right. So you are selling your work in some consignment shops, and there's a fundraiser that goes along with that. So tell me about what you're doing there.
Yeah, so I'm in 2 consignment shops in Toledo. I'm in Storm and Sky shop in the same plaza as Hobby Lobby. I'm in North Street. And then I'm also in Blended in the mall. And I have a fundraiser currently going on at Storm and Sky shop, where every time you buy a gray item from my booth, the proceeds will go to the Glioblastoma Foundation to help support brain cancer research.
And that's kind of a personal thing for you, right? Tell me a little bit why you chose that.
Yeah, so my dad was diagnosed with a brain tumor on May 5th of this year, and he had to go into emergency surgery in order to get the brain tumor removed. And so I started this fundraiser mostly because of him, because I've seen all of the radiation and chemo that he's went through and the struggle that it's bringing him. Because pretty much what it is it's almost an incurable disease. There's one person that's lived 20 years with that disease. So I'm doing this to raise money to help maybe prolong his lifespan and many other people around the world's lifespan as well.
And I imagine that he appreciates the support that you're providing him too through this fundraiser that you're doing. Tell me a little bit about some of your favorite things to crochet and what you love so much about it.
So I like crochet solely because of the fact that it's a huge stress relief for me, because I take all honors, all AP, college, CCP, stuff like that. I do a lot of those classes. So this is a good source of stress relief for me because of the fact that it's just very repetitive, and I can make things like this, and it's cute and amazing. But some of my favorite things to crochet are probably, right now, my obsession is these mushy boys. I love them. They're so cute. And they're also really small, so they're very quick to get done, but they're pretty cute and I love making them. And then my mom's personal favorite is the turtle, which I also enjoy making, but the legs are a little annoying. But other than that, those are my 2 favorites right now. Those are my recent obsessions. And then I made this as a custom order for someone, and they just haven't picked it up yet. So
that is so cute. So cute. And, I think it's really impressive that, you're a teenager and you are selling your work at the mall. That's really cool. And in some consignment shops. So what does that mean to you to be able to sell your work like that?
It means I might not have to get a job, even though I have an interview set up for Tuesday. But no, it just means that I can make a little bit more money than most kids my age would. And it means that I can showcase my work to the rest of the community and, make some other kids happy, because kids like stuffed animals, they like the plushes, they like dinosaurs, they like giraffes. And it just every time I go in to say the mall and I restock, and there's a kid that goes straight to my booth and says, "Mommy, I want a stuffed animal," it just makes my heart happy because I'm making them happy. And I love kids too. So that's also a plus. And I get to see kids happy with my stuff.
So what would you tell other people, maybe kids your age, who maybe have a skill, but they don't really know how to quite hone it or what to do with it? What kind of advice would you give them?
My biggest word of advice is probably just to go for it. If you want to sell your craft and skill, then go for it, or organize something in the community. Be like, hey, I want to do this. Who else wants to join me? Or join groups on Facebook. That's the thing that I do. I'm a part of 4 or 5 different groups on Facebook where they all talk about crochet and their different struggles and whatever. And sometimes I give advice. It may not be the best advice, but most of it's like color options and stuff, and like how much you would price your work for and stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend joining some groups on Facebook. And also just, you got to take risks in order to be successful. So just go out there and give it your all, you know?
And I think you're doing a great job of that. Tell us again where people can find your stuff and particularly, help out that fundraiser.
So they can find my stuff at Blended in the mall, which is right by, if you go into Dillard's and go through all the way through Dillard's, it dumps you out right at Blended. And then they can also find my stuff at stormandSkyShop.com or Storm and Sky Shop, also stormandSkyShop.com. And that is in the same plaza as Hobby Lobby on Monroe Street. And the fundraiser that I'm running at Storm and Sky Shop is every time someone buys a gray item from my booth in my area, all of the proceeds will go to the Glioblastoma Foundation in order to support and help brain cancer research and treatment.
Very good. Well, you're doing some really great work, and I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you have the day off of school today, so we didn't have to take you away from your work, but thanks so much for joining us and talking about your projects. You're doing some great work. Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. It was a pleasure talking with Alyssa Perry there, Sylvania Northview student, 16. And, she's found a way to be like, hey, I do this for pleasure. It's relaxing, but I can also make a little bit of money on this. She's 16 years old.
Yeah, 16.
And then on top of it, she's obviously going through a traumatic experience in her family with her father, who she said is doing better right now with glioblastoma. But if you get those gray items, because gray is the color for that particular type of cancer, then the proceeds will go to the foundation.
She said 100% goes that way.
Yeah, so awesome. Make sure to head there. That's fundraisers at the Storm and Sky Shop. So, and that's at the Monroe Street Market Square Center. So you can hit that up there west of Talmadge and check out her work, support her, and yeah, she's doing great.
She's doing an awesome job. And I love just to see someone so young with that entrepreneurial spirit. She said, hey, I might not have to get a job, even though I have a job interview coming up. But yeah, I hope that's the case for her.
Yeah,
she
wish her the best for
her passion that way.
Yeah, so of course we want to see your projects, whether they are finished or not. Send us photos of what you're working on. Post them to my Facebook page, Amanda Faye, Anchor Reporter. Make sure to include your name, where you're from, any other details about your project you would like to share. All right, we're gonna hear some music this morning.
Some live music.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, stay with us. It's coming up after this.